Hi everyone, Teddy Baldassarre with TeddyBaldassarre.com. In this video, we're looking at a new watch from Hamilton, a fantastic chronograph with the Pilot Pioneer mechanical chronograph. So in this video and on this channel, we cover watches available for purchase on our website, TeddyBaldassarre.com, as a full authorized dealer. So in this video, deep dive on this timepiece, final points of consideration at the end, but also throughout this video, if you have further questions or you're looking to buy the watch, check out the link in the description to the product page where you can do all that and a lot more. But guys, let's jump into the video and take a closer look at this watch. Over the last 5 to 10 years, the watch industry has demonstrated a healthy appetite for vintage-inspired designs, which in turn has forced many brands to turn back the pages of their own historical catalogs, reimagining core designs from decades past for the modern world. And when it comes to deep archives, Hamilton, a brand based in the United States until 1969 when they moved their production over to Switzerland, has as rich an archive as anyone, in particular when it comes to designs with military roots. Hamilton is well known for supplying capable field wristwatches to the Allied forces in World War II, establishing a basic design format that persists to this day, within the extremely popular collection of field watches under the khaki heading. And recently, Hamilton announced an intriguing new chronograph based on a 1970s British military design for the Royal Air Force. And in this video, we'll take a closer, detailed look looking at the Pilot Pioneer mechanical chronograph, an excellent Swiss mechanical chronograph with legit aviation heritage and priced at just over $2,000. Now, starting on a conversation with the case and wearing experience presented by this new military chronograph for Hamilton, we have a diameter of 40 millimeters paired with a case length of almost 50 millimeters and a thickness of 14.6 millimeters when taking into account the prominently domed box section sapphire crystal. While this set of dimensions is larger than the historic watch to which this model pays tribute, which measured 38 millimeters across, this increase of size was probably chosen as a result of the movement as well as adding some modern flair and mass appeal to a model that otherwise leans heavily in the enthusiast direction. On the wrist, the case wears well even on a smaller wrist, presenting a slightly larger than imagined presence thanks to the total lack of a bezel and the larger real estate being left to the central dial surface. And while the thickness is going to be a little bit larger than that of those Intramatic chronographs, it is filling the kind of void of a tool military style chronograph watch and isn't going to probably be best suited for wearing a suit and wasn't intended to do so. So I don't think this one is uncomfortable or ungainly in its wear. With that being said, this piece is probably ideally suited for wrists above 6.5 inches or 16.5 centimeters or so, wearing like a 41 millimeter watch, all things considered. Set between 22 millimeter lugs, the watch utilizes a rugged and thick brown leather strap with a dual prong system with a signed pin buckle at its untapered 22 millimeter end. The strap is stiff at first, but breaks in nicely and pairs well with the watch's vintage aesthetic. The basic case design historically stems from a British Ministry of Defense standard known as the DefStan 664 Part 2, which strictly defined this general layout with its asymmetrical right side intended to act as protection for the case and the dual pump style chronograph pushers. Other than Hamilton, this chronograph design was historically produced by brands such as CWC and Newmark as well, and beyond that more eccentric asymmetrical design, the modern case features a utilitarian overall design format with sharp 90-degree angles at the lugs, vertical case flanks, and overall brushed finish. The push-pull crown resting in the 3 o'clock position is huge at just over 8 millimeters in diameter, making winding easier than many other hand-winding watches out there on the market. Between the pushers, the crown, and the screw-down case back, which is very simply engraved on this sample model, this aviation-themed watch is rated to an impressive 100 meters of water resistance, providing a welcome heightened sense of security in the process for a chronograph. And while the finishing is largely matte and utilitarian in keeping with this model's military pedigree, it is well executed for the price and provides a vintage tool watch look on the wrist with the help of this excellent, highly legible dial design. Again, closely following the historical model, the modern Pilot Pioneer mechanical chrono dial is based on a matte black central surface that exhibits a bit of granular texture when viewed underneath the macro lens. At the periphery, a half railway minute track is printed in a faux patina off-white shade with smaller circular indices at the 5-minute positions and larger Arabic indices just within to track the hours, with both the 12 and the 6 o'clock hour markers being oversized compared to the rest. A 30-minute chronograph register is tucked in at the 3 o'clock spot, breaking up the Arabic hour indices on either side, with a running seconds register tucked away on the opposite side. At the center, stylized hands follow the vintage model, here executed in stark matte white and filled with faux patina luminescent material. In terms of the lume's performance on the dial and the hands, this faux patina does function better than many examples, but still falls well short of many watches with the standard Superluminova. Dial printing is almost non-existent, with only the brand word mark and the older H logo at noon position to break up what is otherwise a very clean, legible design. Turning the Pilot Pioneer Chrono over, we have a simply engraved case back, keeping watch over the Hamilton H51 SI oscillating within. Now, given Hamilton's position beneath the Swatch Group umbrella, the brand enjoys preferential access to as well as collaboration with ETA, the Swiss third-party movement giant for decades. This H51 is based on the ETA Valjoux 7753, the horizontal display version of the 7750 that is perhaps the single most ubiquitous integrated Swiss chronograph caliber on the market today. In this particular model's case, the base 7753 is reworked, removing the automatic rotor and winding mechanism and adding a silicon balance wheel to alleviate the negative effects of magnetism on the caliber's operation and accuracy. And while the movement is hidden, press photos do indicate a higher level of finish on these, with some polished components and engraved central bridges. Unlike other Hamilton ETA collaborations that reduce the beat frequency from a Swiss standard of 4 Hz to 3 Hz to extend the power reserve, this movement manages 60 hours of power reserve while retaining the smooth sweep associated with its 28,800 vibration 4 Hz beat rate. Considering this model will have to be hand wound, any extension in that reserve is definitely welcome. In terms of general specs here, we're looking at 28,800 vibrations per hour, 4 Hz. It does feature hacking stop in the second hand when you pull the crown to the farthest position, and a power reserve of 60 hours. And in terms of accuracy here, we did test this one at 5 different positions, fully wound up, and it was running between 0 to +2 seconds a day. So really good accuracy out of the box. Don't take that to the bank, but typically I do find that Hamilton consistently run in the single digits when you are getting their watches. So very nicely done here. So now to unpack, looking at this Hamilton Pilot Pioneer mechanical chronograph, the PPMC, which I'll call it. So for general just considerations on the negative end and the positive end. We'll start with just some maybe drawbacks for this watch. I think the number one thing people might mention is the size. I think the Intramatic chronographs are already starting to push the limit. This one wears a little bit larger than those, both in the dimension set as well as the thickness. So that is potentially going to be a detriment to this watch, I think, for some consumers out there. Also, lume is typically not a strong point for Hamilton, so I think that'd be the other point here. Because it's going for more of that faux look, there are some complications that come with that when it comes to allowing it to shine more brightly. Now, looking at the pro side, I would say when I was looking at some of the new unveilings for Hamilton this year, the two things that immediately jumped out were the new titanium field watches in the khaki format. Those were no-brainers and I think great to see. But the other one that popped out were these. And to be honest, I was actually more excited about seeing this because I think from a design perspective, this is so Hamilton. Looking back to the past, military roots, it just felt so clean, simple, but well done. And when you're talking about value for money in the Swiss chronograph spectrum, I would say until we saw the PRX Chrono, Hamilton was the definitive chronograph watch for the money. And I think still to this day remain as one of the leaders and maybe having the most optionality at that entry door of Swiss mechanical chronographs. And I think this is just adding an additional watch into that very loaded playing field that they now offer. The watch is also very legible, 100 meters of water resistance, sapphire crystal. And if you're not a fan of the Intramatic chronographs, the Chrono H, and want something a bit different with some more military type of approach, I think this one is going to be right up your alley. All right, guys, thank you again so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. That does help out the channel. Also, if you're in the market for this watch, we are an authorized dealer for this Hamilton Pilot Pioneer mechanical chronograph. A link will be in the description down below. All of our watches that we have for sale come with a full factory warranty. We have quick and fast fulfillment, dedicated customer support here in the United States, and also helps out the content that we create here as well as on our main channel. But guys, thank you again so much for watching. Be well, and hope to see you all very soon.